Salutations, dear viewer. We've got a bit of a topic to cover in this video. Just want to offload some thoughts, feelings. You know, it might get a bit ranty in certain areas, but it's coming off the back of somebody who has been exposed to numerous shitty business practices over the years in gaming, and it's coming to an end, quite frankly. And I just want to basically offload some thoughts about the recent, you know, announcements with Texas Chainsaw Massacre as another ASIM. So I will preface this by saying that I actually enjoyed TCM. I will lock us in here. We'll go as Jade just to match the map because we're in a bit of a floral map on weather control. Yeah, I did enjoy TCM, what I played of it. So this isn't me blindly hating on the game. However, it's calling it out in some way or another. You'll hear what I have to say anyway. I'm just going to change this out a minute because Lazarus isn't the greatest of medics, and we'll get a decent game out of it otherwise. I do also apologise for my voice at the minute. I'm actually incredibly fucking ill, so you could probably tell by my voice it's a bit more, I don't know what the word is, quite honestly, clogged. But yeah, anyway. So the recent announcement, basically, is a new skin that they've announced for TCM. Now, this has come at the time where they have disabled crossplay, which essentially nuked half the player base. The player base went down from like 10,000 to about 2,000, 3,000 average. And frankly, and rightfully so, there's a lot of people who are pissed off with it at the minute, and myself included, because I'm basically seeing the same amoeba brain level of shit publishing that 2K did with Evolve. And it's just, you know, it's getting to the point where I genuinely don't understand how, as companies, we never fucking learn our lesson in this particular instance. The way this relates to Evolve, and, you know, the reason I'm bringing it up in an Evolve gameplay video, is the pricing of this skin. So it's a skin. I want to hammer that in. So it just changes your appearance of your character. They are charging you $15.99 for this shit, right? Now, if you've been around in the Evolve side of things for, you know, back in the day, you'll know that $15.99 is a familiar price tag, and it is beholden to the man you are now seeing on screen, Behemoth. He was $15.99 when he was announced. Now, to compare the two, and this doesn't come off the back of bias, it just comes off the back of genuine observation. $15.99 for a character this well made and detailed, I would be fully in support of buying, quite honestly, as I was. I've always been somebody who has bought content based on what they think of it and what, you know, how much value for money I think I'm going to get from it. And, you know, 8 years later, here I am playing as him. So as far as I'm concerned, that £15 that I spent 8 years ago has well and truly been worth it. Where this doesn't apply to a skin, however, is the fact that you're going to get about 2 games out of it, and then it's just going to be part of the woodwork. It doesn't change gameplay, it's got no special effects, it's got no functioning impact on the gameplay itself, but they're going to charge you $15.99 for this shit. And to be honest, from what I've seen in the reaction to this, which is a little bit disheartening, there is far less people who are actually calling this shit out than, you know, what we had with Evolve, which was a genuine fucking character that's playable that you're now seeing on screen. So obviously it's touched a nerve a little bit for me, because this is sort of indicating that consumers are rather scarily getting used to this shit. And I'm here to tell you right now that if you keep supporting this shit and you keep buying it, they're going to keep doing it, and they're going to keep lowering the quality for what they're, you know, charging you for, and games are going to get progressively shitter over time, and they're going to start charging more for them. It doesn't take a mastermind to see this. It really doesn't. Like, I never thought I would be making one of these videos, you know, because these were the sort of videos and the sort of commentaries that I got pissed off around with this game. And I'm still of that mindset, obviously, if somebody was to make that sort of commentary about this game, that, you know, it wasn't worth the money and all that shit, I would just be fully in the camp of, you know, shut the fuck up, please, because it is high quality. The only reason it wouldn't be worth the money in this game's instance is because it never actually got, you know, the time to fucking flourish as a game. But yeah, as I say, we'll get into our first fight here as well. It's getting fucking stupid, honestly, and I just wanted to mention it on a video, and my thoughts on the whole situation. The second part of the rant though as well is that they've also announced in the same breath, this is also again at the same time where they just keep basically saying on the whole crossplay situation that they are working on it, TM, you know. Every new update that comes out, it's basically the same copy and pasted fucking sentence at this point, so you know, nobody's none the fucking wiser, quite honestly, to when we're actually going to get crossplay back and have a bit more of a sustainable player base. But on the back of that, going on to the next part, is they've also announced that the way they're going to monetize the game is if you want to buy the new characters, you will have to buy them separately. There is no in-game currency either, so you will be paying real money for this. So effectively, each DLC wave that comes out for this game, they are going to charge you £20 to get both characters in that DLC wave. As again, because they won't... I have committed way too much to trying to get this fucking Abe down. Yeah, they're going to charge you 20 quid basically, that's what it is. And, you know, it's basically forcing your player base into picking a side, essentially, because I'm probably not wrong when I say that a lot of people ain't gonna fucking spend 20 quid to buy two characters. And I hate to sound like this because I know it's gonna come across as biased against, you know, because I'm playing the game itself, I'm doing a gameplay video of it, but I'm gonna say it because I have to say this every fucking time. This game is significantly fucking higher quality than a lot of ASINs that are out there these days. The animations, the atmosphere, all the different monsters, and all the different gameplay things that it brings with it is far fucking more engaging and superior than a lot of the shit that's out there these days. It just is. Like, this gameplay at its core is a lot more engaging, at least from the monster side of things. There was things on the hunter side that obviously did need a bit of work, but they were fixable. And it's, I can't see myself paying 20, as somebody who doesn't usually, that was a nice thunderstrike that actually, I can't see myself paying 20 quid for two characters that are nowhere near as fucking detailed as these monsters are, and nowhere near as relatable or lovable as the hunters are in this game. Because TCM for me, I mean personally, this isn't me slating it by the way, this is just a thought I've always had about the game. It does come across as a bit over-corporatized, if you know what I mean. Like, it looks very... It has this vibe about it for me where it's very modern day, you know, it has that look about it, where it is just, you know, it's the modern day game. It just has that feel about that I personally don't like, so that's just where I'm coming from in that particular camp, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, as a lot of people seem to have agreed with me on the Reddit post that I made, because they fucking rocketed that shit to nearly the top of the fucking subreddit, which, you know, was a bit intimidating in itself because I'm not used to that sort of popularity in another community. But yeah, there's a lot of people who are of the same mindset, and rightfully so, quite honestly. We're going to go up to stage 3 here, by the way. So I do apologise to those of you who've come for a gameplay video here, and, you know, I've not been commentating too much about what's going on, but it's just some thoughts I have to get off the thing, because it does piss me off that there are actually people defending this shit on the Reddit, and also to a lesser extent the Steam forums, and it's fucking bizarre to me, honestly. Like, there are people who are genuinely sitting there and saying, will you stop complaining about this, they have to make their money, and, you know, it's all about supporting the project, and it's not about supporting the project. You're being fucking robbed blind, and you just can't fucking see it. We had so much better games back around the 2015 era, like where Evolve came out, because they were actually still putting effort into games, and they were still, you know, earning the fucking wages, basically. But to turn around and say you're going to start charging $9.99 for each fucking character and not actually have them as a bundle, not provide an in-game currency, you know, equivalent for the option, no, I'm not. I'm not supporting it, quite honestly. I'm really not. It does lead into the fact why I'm probably not going to be playing TCM on the channel anymore, but it's the lesser reason why I'm not. The main reason is because obviously when crossplay got removed, it did narrow the player base down to the fucking esports gamers, and every game's basically a 2 to 3 minute identical shit show, so I've not been engaged in it, honestly, because I just don't find it fun at the minute. That said, you know, if things do turn around by some miracle, you know, I will go back to it on the channel for you. But at this present moment, with these announcements and how fucking stupid they appear to be with the publishing and marketing decisions and, you know, all that sort of thing, I'm not bothering, quite honestly, because as far as I'm concerned, all I can see in it is Evolve again. A good game that's been ruined by clueless fucking publishing. And considering as well that you've also got a literal fucking developer on the Twitter fighting consumers over this, like I'm talking about internet arguments and shit like that over this, and childish fucking behaviour in terms of, you know, representing a company, and you're literally flaming your consumers because they're concerned about your marketing practices. It's not a good image, quite honestly, and I'm not gonna, you know, as somebody who is, you know, pro-consumer in terms of, you know, I'd like to be spending money on things that are worth the fucking money I'm spending. I'm not going to support a developer that is quite literally, like, ruthlessly defending greed. Because, to compare the two games anyway, between Evolve and TCM, I don't consider TCM that high quality in comparison to Evolve. But yeah, as I say, that comes across as a bit more biased, but it's just, it's not. It's genuine. I say it about every game, honestly, these days, every ASIM, because I find Evolve to be peak, quite honestly. But it is the current state of the industry these days, and the people who are actively defending all this fucking stupid shit are the ones that are bringing, you know, it to its knees. Because you're basically telling these shitheads that they can do whatever they want and charge stupid fucking prices, and you will continuously get shit content and be overcharged for it if you keep it up. I don't speak from no experience on the topic, neither do all of us who play Evolve, because we've seen it happen to our game, and believe me, if you are a TCM, you know, player, and you've come to this video and it just seems like a rant, believe me, I know what it's like to have somebody rant about your game. We went through it with Evolve 8 years ago, you know, and we got our game robbed of us. And it's probably what's going to happen to your game, addressing the TCM player here, because it's not because videos like this exist necessarily, it's because they are literally shooting themselves in the fucking head with this sort of marketing practices, but they can't fucking see it. And I don't know why they can't fucking see it, because it's blatant as far as I'm concerned. This is actually a very close game, it's because I'm ranting and not I'm a bit distracted. I'll shoot a lava bomb at the bottom of there, so they'll take some DOT. But yeah, that's my views on the topic, basically. TLDR, don't buy that shit, because, you know, slapping some guy's name on a regular skin and using it as an excuse to strap £10 onto it as a result, because they're going to charge, you know, $5.99 for regular cosmetics, so to speak. They're advertising this skin with a guy's name on it as premium content, when it does functionally nothing that a regular, you know, skin wouldn't. So yeah, I'm not supporting it, honestly. I watched my favourite game die to this sort of shit, and it's not happening this time around. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to be doing anything TCM related going forward, unless obviously they do turn around and they have a change of heart in this particular instance. But as I say, I'm not really expecting things to change, quite honestly. If you're gonna, you know, remove crossplay and still actively fucking, you know, announce DLC directly after that without restoring what your community wants to be restored first, then no, it's not happening, honestly. I'm not going to be investing in a project that's going to be dead in about 2 to 4 months at this rate, so it is what it is. This probably should be over now, I think. I think they've got another dropship spawn. Yeah, they have. We've got our farmer actually, so I'll probably stick around. What I will do is confirm the Lennox death here. She's going to shield it, but it should be alright, because then we remove this team's damage output, so we should be able to confirm this. They have got Emmett back up, which isn't ideal. Should be able to get him here though. They're going to struggle very hard here though, because as I say, they've lost the damage dealer, so the tankiest monster in the game is going to be very problematic for him here. Lo and behold, though, Cabot is doing... Oh no, he's there, never mind. I was about to say he's doing his job, but he's not. That does actually kill Abe. That's the Canyon Strider. There he is. Might be just out of range with that. I can probably get him with another fisher. He's gone up there again. Does travel up terrain, this. Yeah, that's going to be GG. Ooh, shit. Nice duck. There we go. But yeah, there you go. It's a thoughts video for you. Yeah, I never thought I'd be somebody who'd have that sort of stance, because obviously I do consider myself to be a whale. You know, somebody who just buys cosmetics. I will buy something in a game as long as it's got a reasonable price tag that I find reasonable, and obviously that's a bit more lenient than some people. If I know that I'm going to get my money's worth from my standpoint, not from anybody else across the internet who's telling them. And I fully encourage that. If you want to buy that skin, buy it. But for me personally, I'm not going to fucking engage in that level of shit, because it, for me, as somebody who is lenient, and from my perspective, it crosses the fucking line, quite honestly. So, you know, it is what it is. That is my thoughts on the whole situation. This monster was $15.99, and then they turned around and said for a fucking skin they're going to charge you $15.99. And there's a disturbingly high amount of people who seem to be okay with this for some reason. But obviously that is just the way the current gaming climate has changed since 2015. So, and I will just throw this in there as well with the topic of TCM as well. I feel genuinely bad for Ed Neal, right, who voices the Hitchhiker. The man is about 70 to 80 years old at this stage. Sorry if I've got your age wrong, mate. But it's more or less that age. It's about 50 years later he's come back to continue his role as this character, and now it's basically going to be shat on by these stupid fucking publishing decisions, and I feel genuinely bad for the man, honestly. He's a genuine saint for coming back 50 years later to voice this character that he played the role of in 1974, you know. It's pretty much 50 years ago at this point. It'll be 50 years next year. And, you know, he's come back to a project and this shit's what, you know, is shrouding it. It's fucking awful, mate, honestly. But, you know, it produces this ugly fucking reality in me, that the fact that Evolve probably could be alive and kicking today with this current mindset, because it got cancelled basically because of the whole behemoth situation and a couple of the balance issues. But the thing with the balance issues was 2K decided it would be a good idea to only release patches every 3 months, because, you know, that's a smart decision. And as a result, a lot of the core issues with the game weren't addressed fast enough in the you know, the decline of the player base itself. And obviously then, you know, 2K being 2K, so they basically did what they did with the key situation, actually, back in the day. They released patches too slow. They wouldn't permit TRS to release patches. I think it was about 3 months. I think it was literally a 3-month cycle. And then when the player base inevitably started going down just because lack of updates and, you know, the issues weren't being fixed, they were, you know, they got this mindset where it was like, oh, the game's shit then, you know. It's not, you know, it's the game's issue, it's not our problem. We're trying to save this game. And it's like, no, you're fucking not. You're updating it every 3 months. What do you fucking expect? You know, you've got devs at TRS literally saying in a statement afterwards that they had patches ready to roll out for this game, and all they could do was fucking sit there and watch it collapse because the fucking publisher didn't want to, you know, waste money, quote unquote. It's so fucking dumb. It baffles me. And then the key situation now, a couple of months ago, they saw the game get 2.5k players as a revival attempt, right? There was 2.5k players. The game isn't available to buy on the Steam store, and yet 2,500 players were playing this game concurrently for a couple of weeks consistently. And lo and behold, then as well, we decided to wait about a month to produce some fucking half-baked response that was to throw a bunch of keys into a Discord server, and then we acted in the same sort of stupid surprise when all of these keys got scalped, and as a result the game had no players again because there was no announcement made during that week. Everything that was made, like every sort of announcement that was made and everything that was done during that little hype wave should have been done in that fucking July when the numbers were high, because then you would actually tell people there's something to stay for, not wait like 3 or 4 week, and then, you know, when it's already starting to peter out after that, because everybody doesn't think there's nothing, you know, nobody thinks there's anything going on, so they're just going to leave. They've got the nostalgia and all that. But if you was to announce that, right, you know, we're gonna carry this on, we're gonna, you know, pump some new life into it, we're gonna, you know, start making some balance changes first, get the game on its feet again, people would stick around. It's fucking obvious, it's blatant. If you want to kickstart, revive a game, right, you start announcing the balance patches or any sort of announcement whatsoever that, you know, would say that the game is being worked on. Not fucking dick around with it, with, you know, some of the perks and all this shit. That's what they were doing, basically. They were just fucking around with perks, switching the switch on and off, so to speak, and trying to basically, I think what they were doing was they were just flicking the switch, just trying to keep the players there for as long as possible while decisions were going on in offices behind closed doors. I do think that's what was going on, and obviously it took them too fucking long to come to an actual decision, and as a result they just played fucking blind to it again, and pleaded ignorance, basically, and just said, nah, there's not enough attention, basically, on a gated game that got 2.5k players. But again, the argument just keeps looping here, because it's just immeasurably fucking frustrating how straightforward the revival of this game could have been, and how we would have had a genuinely good ASIM as a result. But, you know, money. And just the way this dog shit industry is now going, because we've let all the fucking suit-wearing corporate pricks in, instead of people who were designing games for the hobby and for the entertainment. These days, trailers get made before the fucking project actually gets made. So, you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. We're going to continuously lose decent games, I think, in the current climate, honestly. I do believe indie devs are probably the way to go. I've heard good things about Baldur's Gate, actually, recently, about it being genuinely good. So there's I think it's an indie dev anyway who makes Baldur's Gate. I don't actually know who develops it, so I can't really comment on that. I don't know if they are actually a AAA game company, but if they aren't, it's fucking hilarious how an indie dev can actually produce something that surpasses AAA content in this day and age. So it's just something to think about, basically. Anyway, rant's over. There it is. It's another one of them videos, but I have to say it, honestly, as somebody who's lost his favourite game to this sort of bullshit, and to see people actually defending this shit is just, it's fucking weird, honestly. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the rant, and the behemoth gameplay. Obviously, if you listen to it on mute, I don't blame you. But yeah, hopefully I will see you on the next one. Obviously it'll be just regular gameplay. I just wanted to do like a one-off video in this one, just to get some thoughts out there, and yeah, I will see you on the next one. Bye.